People look to us for answers on for a lot of things. What, just being outside my realm, but knowing that my father is retired from here and very proud of this facility, as am I, and its leadership, can we do? I'm sure they're probably the same boat I am. I don't know. You tell me what to do. I know when the 130th Air Wing was ready for shutdown, General Tackett took it quite personal and went head-to-head with them, and we won. I'm going to obviously inquire into that, knowing that I have a few contacts within the Western National Guard to see what methods they took that way. But from your perspective, you tell me, as somebody that can speak out and tends to do so, how and what I can do that will help you.
Well, to be honest, I mean, there's a couple of things you can do moving forward. One is to, like I said, Jerry's website's there. That's fantastic for us, because what it allows us to have, even though we can't advocate, is we can get access to that email database. So when new information comes out, we can tell you guys about it. So that's one component. When the Greenbrier Valley Economic Development Council website comes out, we'll certainly be able to tell you guys about it. That's one piece. The second piece is just what you said. Reach out to those people that you know and have them just give us a call. Have them let us know, because as we move forward, the more support we have behind us, the better. In particular, when you start to look at the possibilities. So our legislative bodies are fantastic right now. They are talking with the National Science Foundation to try to understand exactly what's going on in terms of the report for divestiture. They're looking at the ideas behind it. They want to understand exactly what the NSF's idea is there. And so they've been meeting. They've met a couple of times already. This would be Senators Rockefeller and Manchin and Representative Rahal primarily. And they're meeting again tomorrow with them. As we learn anything about that, we'll certainly get that information out. So that end and kind of working with the science community, that's what we can do. What you can do is reach out to everybody you know who might actually care about this, who maybe doesn't know about it or can't readily get the information, and have them get in touch with us. Have them sign up onto Jerry's petition. As soon as we have the GVDC website up, we'll have a link to that on our webpage and have them go there. As we get more information, we can put it out. What we don't want to do is to get wrong information out to everybody. And that's why this process has been slow. We do want to make sure that as we read through the report, as we respond to the report, that anything we come out with, if we happen to find a misunderstanding within the report itself, if we have funding ideas, we want to make sure they're pretty solid. Because the worst thing that could happen would be to everybody just run around and misinformation get out to the community as a whole. So point people to us and have them contact us. Point people to the change.org website. We'll point people to the GVDC one. And on the main Green Mag website too, we'll keep a list there so everybody can find out what's going on. By next week, hopefully, we'll have a response to the committee report. We being NREO and AUI, our governing body, we'll have a response out to that report, and we'll be able to get that out to everybody too. And that's going to help a lot, because once we have that out, then everybody's going to be able to take a look at that, and you'll be able to pull any facts you want to know straight from that in terms of our response. We also have information outside that you're welcome to that talks a lot about the site, and we have some information we'd be happy to give you if you're interested more in things like the economic impact of the site. We have some information on that as well that we can help out with. So I guess the big thing now is to just keep them talking to us.
Steve, and we've introduced Steve Weir with GVEDC. It's my understanding, and I'll let you speak to this, that your website will have links that will allow people to contact their representatives, both state officials, congressional, sample letters, other things, correct?
Yes. The site hopefully will be up next week. It will have contact link information to a number of other sites, allow you to look at the sample letters and then contact through that your congressmen and senators and that kind of thing. We're going to put up a Facebook business page for that site. It's not going to be your page, but it'll be connected with the site. We've secured the domain name savethegbt.org, And so that's ours. We have already set up the site management on that. So all of that's coming forward. I will tell you that the West Virginia Film Commission is given us permission to use 126 pictures that they have of the Green Bank site, and so that will be incorporated into the website. So all of that hopefully will be up and ready by next week, and we'll be able to link. And we will have a Twitter connection to that, the Facebook page, those types of things. And so you can use it as a vehicle to get out.
Thank you.
Get the word out.
And I've got to say that, I mean, in a very short amount of time, this is a lot of work for GVEDC to have done. And we certainly appreciate this as an avenue for the public to perform something, to do some action, and it's a pretty amazing thing that you've been able to accomplish what you have. So thank you.
It's an amazing site to have in our account.
Is there any type of cooperation, say, the DLBA and the GBT? The very reason I'm thinking of that is the number of states that we have telescopes from the DLBA would add to the cloud in Congress, but also, or do we look at it that we're in competition?
No.
Okay.
No, in fact, at tomorrow's meeting, the senators from New Mexico will also be present at that meeting and they're participating in it. The VLBA, if you guys don't know it, it's an interesting beast in the sense that it is a collection of telescopes spread out around the country. It has approximately 50 employees, but the trick about it is of those employees, 25 live in Socorro, New Mexico, and the other 25 are spread out at the various sites where every single state has just 2 employees at it. And so the result of that is that the astronomical impact of the loss of the VLBA is huge. This is a fantastic telescope. It gives you very precise images on the sky. So it's like up in the number of CCDs on your camera by a factor of 1 million or something. You get a very high resolution. But the most important thing about the VLBA is the best science that comes off the VLBA is also the best science that comes off the GBT. And it's when our telescope, the GBT, works hand in hand with the VLBA, and that's where you get these amazing, high-resolution, incredibly sensitive images of stars that are exploding and things like that. Those are all by combining our telescopes. So scientifically, the 2 telescopes are tied very closely together. The GBT can do fantastic science without the VLBA, but it's even better with it. So we are working hand in hand with them, but the reality is the VLBA is also a telescope that has far more international use than the GBT does. And so we're also turning to the international partners of the VLBA. They're really starting to step in, and they're going to help to fund the telescope. That process had already started. There's a couple $1 million coming in next year to help with the funding of that. So it's got multiple, we're going hand in hand, but we have very different paths for a lot of reasons, just due to the way the telescopes are used. And they use a community with the telescopes themselves.
And if you can imagine, Bruce, with a telescope with locations in 10 or more states, it's harder for them to get a consensus group of people, a central group of people. So honestly, and I can probably say this if Karen can't, honestly, the West Virginia delegation has stepped forth tremendously harder than the VLBA has, but that's simply because they didn't have this central core of delegates, representatives, until recently. And now, as Karen said, the New Mexico delegation is stepping up to attend these same meetings with NSF.
And then Virginia, the headquarters in Virginia, would that be another delegation that should step up?
They are.
They have been contacted.
Yes, they've been contacted.
Wow, that's correct.
It's an interesting situation because some of the employees here, we have between 110 and 150 employees here on site. It varies, it's a seasonal variation. In the summer we hire a lot of people, most of you guys know that, we probably have kids that work here, or you worked here. And so it's a very different ballgame, and some of our employees here are actually part of the administration that works in Charlottesville. And so that's part of the complication. In order for NRAO to be efficient, we work very hard at being efficient, is we have people, there isn't anybody here in Greenbank that wears a single hat. So I can't even name all my hats, but there's plenty of people here who wear just multiple hats. And so that means we have accountants here who can work on accounting for all of NREO, and they also make sure our checks get out, and they do this and that and the other. And officially they work for Charlottesville. We also have people who live in Charlottesville who work 100% of their time for the GBT. And so the Virginia delegation doesn't see an economic impact per se because the loss of jobs in Virginia isn't quite there. They are, I think, becoming interested, but they don't have a telescope. We do. And that's really what